Hello, my name's Tim. Welcome to Tim Burbage Reads. And today I'm going to be talking to you about what I read, what I watched in July 2025. Sorry for that close-up. I heard big faces were in at the moment, so I thought I'd do a big face intro. Apologies for that. Luckily you're not seeing this in the cinema, otherwise that would be very scary. Well, what I read in July, then some films that I watched, and then some games and some TV shows and stuff like that. But maybe some channel stuff as well, if I can remember. So the first things first is what I read. That's the main point of this channel. I read 8 books in July, which is 2,466 pages, and average rating of 4. So a good reading month, First things first was I read The Ill-Made Knight by T.H. White. This is book 3 in the Once and Future King, that's what it's called. And I gave this 3 stars. This is a book I started a long time ago, dropped and then picked up again. We follow Lancelot in this story, and I found it interesting. I really liked the ending, how it wasn't epic, it was very introverted. I've got a review on the channel, and I did enjoy this enough. Now I want to finish this story by the end of the year, and I think that's a sign of a good story, ultimately. The next was I finished on audio, I finished The Two Towers by J.R.R. Tolkien. I gave this 5 stars, but I prefer Fellowship of the Ring. I think both have lots of kind of meandering and info dumps and all that kind of thing. But I found let's just look at the worst part of Lord of the Rings, which is the info dumps. That does happen. And I found the info dumps in Fellowship of the Ring more interesting and more relevant. So, you know, talking about what happened to Gollum, talking about the Council of Elrond, the message that Boromir hears, you know, about Isildur's Bane and what that is, and you know, learning about the Shire and Bilbo's birthday and Tom Bombadil and all that kind of stuff. I found those bits more interesting than learning about Treebeard and that kind of thing, you know, that kind of big info dump. Also, I was listening to the Phil Dragash version, which is fantastic. It's very reminiscent of the films, uses the film score, the actors' accents and intonations. They're trying to be the characters from the film. So, Treebeard spoke like this the whole time, and it made his dialogue, and when he was talking about the Entwives, which went for a very long time, it was quite hard to understand. So that did impact my enjoyment of the book. I think Helm's Deep is a fantastic battle. What I really liked, what I really noticed, was in Fellowship of the Ring, Frodo is you know, one of the main characters. We bump around all these characters, but Frodo is like the person who you experience a lot with. And then at the end, the second half of The Two Towers, because they split the party, the Fellowship is broken, we follow Sam, because Frodo is getting more distant. He's becoming unlike himself because of the ring. I don't know if that was intentional, but that's something that I took from it. And I enjoyed that. And I'm just under halfway through Return of the King at the moment. I'm recording this in early August, and I'm really enjoying it. But again, the way that the story is being told is kind of messing with my mind a little bit, maybe because I'm listening to it, not reading it. And yeah, but still 5 stars. Then I read the Ocarina of Time manga, both volumes of it by Akira Himikawa, and this was a 5-star read. I love the Ocarina of Time. It's one of my favourite games. I talk in my video about how it's one of my favourite games. I've never actually beaten the whole thing in one go, and I love the story. The art's really serious, but then also really funny at points, especially when he's young Link. It's kind of got that Dragon Ball, like, zany humour to it, and the ending is just chef's kiss. Then I read Divided by Tim Marshall, which I've got a review on the channel for. This is a non-fiction. I think I gave this 4 stars. This is interesting in the fact that it's about divisions. It's about walls going up. And parts of this book felt incredibly relevant when it talks about Israel and the West Bank and Gaza. And then other parts feel incredibly outdated, where it talks about Trump going on about this wall across in between America and Mexico. That feels like a million years ago in terms of our worries on what's going on that side of the pond. But I did enjoy it. I did notice some soft Islamophobia in it. I don't know if that is personal or if that's just something I identified, but I did notice that. And it's something that I'm now going to keep an eye on because I'm looking to read his other books, Tim Marshall's other books, because I find the geography of it really interesting, and he does write in an interesting way, all about flags. I love flags, and so I'll keep an eye out for that, and if I spot it in that, maybe I might defer any more reading on his side, or find someone who maybe has a different angle. Then I finished 3 books reading to the kids. So the first one was I read Dungeon Runner's Sky Battle. This is by Kieran Larwood with the art by Joe Todd Stanton. And this is the second book in the Dungeon Runner series. We read the first book last year and loved it. And my sister-in-law bought my son this for his birthday, I think, or for Easter, maybe. And we finally got to reading it. And it's great. It's about dungeon running. It's about going in and forming a team and going in and fighting this dungeon. And they find this cool sword that's got feathers on it and you can fly. It's also, this deals with like a bit of the, different teams get sponsored. He's now in the championship, and his rival in the first one, who's like main rival he really doesn't like, ends up being on this like sponsored team, but he's not the main guy. He says he's going to be the warrior. He ends up being the healer, and he kind of runs around after them. So he's a bit defeated by the situation rather than by the protagonist. I think Kit Kitson, who is the main guy, he's a North. He's part gnome, part dwarf, so he's very small. He goes through some quite interesting things here because he's not the best teammate, and he gets frustrated with his teammates and his partners, and he lashes out at times, and he ends up realising the error of his ways. But it was quite interesting to read like the protagonist try to be heroic and going about it the wrong way. The issue I found for this, I didn't enjoy this as much as the first one. This is still 4 stars. I still really enjoyed it. The art's great. I love the world of how this is like a sport. But I found the 2 characters that he goes with, Thorn, the vegetarian vampire, and Sandy, the wannabe sea hag who only knows the magic to make sandcastles. I loved those in the first book, where you kind of meet them and find out their weird quirks. And in this book, they didn't really have that much to do. I wanted more of them. But the third book is where they go under the water. They go called Under the Ocean or something like that, and I can't wait for that to come out, because this definitely ended on not on a cliffhanger, but the season of dungeon running is still in progress, so I want to find out what happens. The other thing, the second book I read, this is finished reading to both the kids, was Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. Now this I remember reading when I was younger, and I thought that Sea of Monsters was the weakest one by far. It's the shortest, but I loved reading this to the kids. I love the whiz-bang adventures of it. Tyson is a fun character, though we listened to a little bit of the audiobook, and the voice they gave Tyson I thought was a bit mean, because it makes him sound like a baby. And, Luke's really menacing. You've got Kronos scheming. You meet some cool monsters. You meet a Hydra. And the end result, so we were reading it, and we were driving back from somewhere, I can't remember where, and we were on the last chapter. And so we put the chapter on the autoplayer, and it was playing when the final reveal of the tree is healed by the Golden Fleece, and Thalia comes out of the tree. And my kids' faces were like, really hit the mark from a reveal perspective. And the kids are buzzing about it. We're now listening to the Percy Jackson describes the Greek myths, and they just love it. They just love it so much. They love it so much. And we can't wait for the new series to come. It's coming out in December, and that's too long. It's too long away. And then the last thing I read, just over a couple of days, to my son, was The Thunder Egg by Maddie Mara. This is book 1 in the Dragon Games trilogy. So we got these sets, I think it was a book fair at school, and we had, so you got the Thunder Egg, the Frozen Sea, and the Battle for Imperia. That's 3 books. They're all like 120-ish pages, big text, pictures, stuff like that. And then my daughter got the Dragon Girls series, and they're like blah, 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 the Frosty Dragon, or whatever. And that series, there's like 20 of them, but we got a trilogy of them. And I think my wife's read one of them to my daughter, and she kind of liked it, but it didn't win her over. And this is similar. This is one trilogy. There's only one trilogy. There's not loads of these books, and it's about these 3 kids who get transported into this magical world. One of them turns into a dragon, one of them can turn invisible, and one of them's turned into this big shaggy beast. And they have this egg, and they need to return it to a dragon nest, which is interesting. It's cool. They meet this giant snake made of lava called a magma mamba, which is fun to read, difficult to say. And you know, they meet the villain, they return the egg, they do all the things, and then they return back to the real world, and their teacher's like, I wonder where you have been. I may know more of this. You know, it's got that kind of Narnia feel to it without all the Christian stuff. But the prose itself is very stilted and easy to read. It's designed for them to read themselves. It's not designed for adults to read to them. It's not written, it has got that tone of voice to it. And also there's this like, it's because it's called the Dragon Games. Like there's like games involved, but the game mechanic doesn't really come across very well. They just have to face challenges, which are like, hey, you need to get past this monster, and they do that, and then the Thunder Egg gives them a point, and it's like 1-0 to their team, and I'm like, what? I don't know. Can we bring VAR into this? I don't know. So I gave this 2 stars, but my son quite liked it, and it's very quick and easy. Didn't set the world alight, but I did enjoy it. And then the last book I finished just before the end of July was for my Disney Reading Challenge, and it was The Valley of the Moon by Jack London. So I've just put a review up of this. You should have a review of this if I know what I'm doing upload-wise, which is a big if. But I really like this book. This is a story of a couple who get together in Oakland, just outside San Francisco, and they deal with strife and union issues, and then they decide to leave it all behind and go traveling and go on the open road and go hoboing, basically, and try to find the perfect land that's not too hot and not too cold, and it's got beautiful redwood trees but not too much fog, but it's nice and cool in the mornings but not too cool. And they talk about how this is the Valley of the Moon because it's impossible to find. The only way, you're never going to find this perfect thing, but they keep looking for it, and I really enjoyed it. And I've got some interesting thoughts about how it would relate to this kind of current political landscape, which is interesting because it kind of harkens back to values which I think weren't really that relevant at the time, or I don't know, but they feel those values are very important to a big group of people. And I think if you're part of that group of people, I think you would really enjoy this book. And even if you're not, because I'm not, I really enjoyed this book. So yeah, those are all the books. Right, let's move into movies. So I went to the cinema 3 times in July. Well, once was like August the 1st, but whatever. Went to see Jurassic World Rebirth, which was great. I really enjoyed it. I like the fact they kind of, in the world, dinosaurs can't live in the real world, so they're dying out. That makes sense. It just makes sense. And I like then you don't have dinosaurs everywhere. I never really liked that in the Jurassic World series, and they never really did anything with it. So I'm liking the fact they're bringing it back to basics, and they're just in hot places that are avoided by people. Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey are great as the leads. Mahershala Ali is brilliant as well. They all have such chemistry. I think all of them could have chemistry with a doorknob, but none of them are doorknobs. They are all quality actors, and I really enjoyed that. There's the one thing I really didn't like, and I don't think was needed, was they've gone with the mutated dinosaurs thing. But these are all the bad ones. So you've got like weird flying raptor things with big ugly like things, and there's the D-Rex for like distorted Rex. It's got this huge head and it's like whoa, and 4 arms, and it's really ugly. They didn't need to be genetic experiments gone wrong. They didn't need to be that. They could have just been a site where they made creatures that were too angry for the parks. That could have been it. I know that doesn't sell toys, but you can make them cool dinosaurs that we don't know about. But yeah, I liked how this was its own story. It felt, the bit with water, with the mosasaur, that was great. They should make that. I saw a review somewhere that was like Jurassic Park meets Jaws. And they should just make that. That was so good. There's the family, you know, because you've got to have kids in danger in a Jurassic Park movie. And so the source of that was a bit strange, but then I actually quite enjoyed that. I enjoyed the whole film, really. I didn't really like the mutated dinosaurs. I thought that was a bit of didn't really work for me. But the rest of it I really enjoyed. Then I watched Superman and Fantastic Four, and both of them have so many parallels. And I was just chatting to Sam Harrison about this, and he really, really liked Superman. And I'm glad he did, because I knew he was really excited for it. I have no knowledge of Superman. I watched Terry Hatcher and Dean Cain as a kid, and then I watched the Snyderverse movies. I didn't watch the Snyder Cut thing. I didn't have that, but I watched this, that's my knowledge of Superman. And I found it very, not confusing is the word. I understood everything that was going on, but I thought, this is a bit weird, you know, like everything's just accepted by everybody, which is what they're going for. But that did impact my enjoyment of it. And, you know, just a lack of knowledge on who's that, you know. While Fantastic Four, I know a lot more about. And again, it's set in its own world. It's like, here they are, just accept it. And I was far more accepting. And I thought, I really enjoyed Fantastic Four. I thought Fantastic Four was really good. I enjoyed it more than Superman. Though Superman did have that kind of hope to it, which I think really have latched on to people. And so I enjoyed that. Video game-wise, I've just been playing Mario Kart World. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm terrible at it. I did the tour a couple of times online the other day, and I didn't even get past the first thing. I'm really bad at it. But what I do is I've done all the races, so I've kind of unlocked all the tracks and, you know, Rainbow Road and that kind of stuff. And now I just go around the world. I just go and free roam and just drive about. And I'm like, oh, I haven't been over there. Let's go see. Oh, there's a P-switch. Let's go do that. I could see a question mark block. How do I get to it? And I'm kind of figuring that out. And I just do that. So I don't really accomplish very much, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm now in that kind of age in my gaming life where I'm like, I'm just here for the vibes. And then TV-wise, we've been watching Schitt's Creek. So we literally finished it 2 nights ago. So we finished it into August. And it's so funny and it's so heartfelt and it's so warm. It's just wonderful. It's just a wonderful watch. Now, let me see if I can find some channel stats for you. So in July, I had 790 views, 37.8 watch hours, and I gained 10 subscribers, which is really big. So welcome if you're one of those people. In my kind of top videos, number one is the Just Stab Me Now book review by Jill Bearup. The algorithm just liked that. I filmed that months ago. And it got my most views, which is mad. And then my other biggest view, which is a new video, which is really nice, was my mid-year freakout tag. I got 74 views on that, and I'm really happy with that. Yeah. So and then my third one is my Disney Twisted Tales series, which is just chugging along. It just gets so many views every month from new people because it's kind of, I'm really happy with that video. It's kind of an in-depth look at the Disney Twisted Tales series. So those are my top 3 videos. And overall views, I think views, it's kind of, I think they've been a bit down, but generally on average, subscribers are going up, which is really nice to see. And I'm really happy with where the channel is at. I've actually been getting ahead a little bit because I'm going on holiday in August and I want to keep releasing. I don't want to have a huge gap. I might have a bit of a gap, but I don't want to have a huge gap. Let me know if you've read any of those books, and let me know if you've seen any of those films, and let me know in the comments below any questions that you've got, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, please like the video, please subscribe. I've been doing this for 2 years. I don't even know what I'm doing. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Now, get out of my house!